want to thank those who sent me messages about the last video that I sent out. They were very interested in trying to see why I had a ticket and all that. So I decided to do the video again. Listen, it stemmed from a family member who called me and said, well, you're doing pretty well with the driving, being visually impaired. And then I informed him that I had a ticket from the police the other day. What happened was I took this car for services, and on return, as you know, this car is an assistive tool for me. So there are sensors that you turn on, and they help me to drive. And someone who doesn't know will think that I'm a perfect driver. So as I was coming on Route 24, which is a couple of miles from here, I was pulled over by a state super. The young man came to me and introduced himself and said he was from the state, and that he pulled me over because I was not steady within my lane. He asked if I was distracted, and I said no. So the police officer asked me for my license and registration, which is what is done here. And I think the many killings you've seen here in the United States and folks getting into arguments with the police, they're not able to present the documents that they've been asked for. Some of them is because they have a warrant of arrest or some other issues that they don't want the police to know. So they get into an argument, and sometimes foolishly they try to run away from the cops, and then they end up getting shot. But in most cases, if you comply, everything would be fine, which is what I did. So I did not argue that I was not swelling from road to road, from lane to lane. Gave him my license, but I couldn't locate the registration. Obviously, the services of Toyota, they had the registration on my seat instead of in the glove compartment. See, this guy just went over, just came on the right overtake. It's very, very bad. And we were at the light, not that we were even going ahead. The guy was so pissed off that he wanted to go. That's how you get into an accident. And so he asked me to sit tight, and he came back and gave me a warning ticket. He said, well, the warning ticket is nothing, but I should stay within my lane. He blocked the traffic, and I was able to get into the traffic and drive home. And so I reflected on why I had the ticket in the first place. Then it occurred to me that I was looking here to turn on the sensors, because one of the guide is the car centers me within the lane. If I go up the lane, the car brings me back into the lane. And so that was not happening. So I was trying to turn on the sensors. But something also happened. The lane had 3 lanes. So you have the leftmost lane is the slow lane, and the inner lane is the fast lane. So in swirling between the lane, I was not on the slow lane, I was on the fast lane. And that pulled attention of the cops. Somebody is fumbling on a fast lane can cause accidents. So that's why I was pulled over. So besides from lane to lane, I was in the fast lane, which I'm not supposed to be there, and I was going slower than somebody who is in the slow lane, and yet I was not even standing in my lane. So the cops did a good job. And so one of the things that I could have done was to clear, figure the damn thing on, turn it on, and make sure that it's working before I could get into the road. Secondly, I should have been in the slowest lane. Where can you imagine you going 15 miles per hour in a 65 miles per hour and being in the fastest lane? That's a no-no. You see here, what happened is, as I'm in my lane, the other cars are allowed to pass. So if you have an assisted car, a lot of people will think that you are driving pretty good. The next generation of cars is coming up. It looks like cars are being manufactured for people who are visually impaired, and even for people who are not visually impaired, because they help avoid accident. This car, if I come with speed to hit the car that is in front of me, the car will stop by itself. I've not tried, because what if it didn't stop? But that's what I'm told. So I'm able to not look out, because the lights in the windows tell me if a car is overtaking. When I'm reversing, all I do is look at the screen. But the car also helps dictate. Even if it's a person trying to cross, the car will alarm and I will stop. Most of my errands these days are picking up my medication and a few things around my neighborhood here. I don't go that far, especially when the weather is bad. Today is very cloudy. here in Boston, you have cars that deliver maybe medications and other stuff. Driverless cars. There are many of them in California. There's some here in Massachusetts. So people who are visually impaired and have the financial resources can buy cars that don't need drivers. Now I'm visually impaired. When I'm legally blind, if I were legally blind, then I'll be looking to get one of those cars that you get in, you give the address, and then the car takes you to the location. Are there cases that some of these cars get into accidents? Yeah. Recent there was one in Boston. Yeah. The reason is you have other cars that are not configured to drive the same. But the irony here is a good driver is not somebody who gets into a car and is able to drive straight. Driver is somebody who is able to respond positively to a potential accident caused maybe by an ignorant person. Thank God. For helping me. And you to stay safe and drive safe. If you feel you can't drive, stay off the road. If you feel you're drunk, stay off the road. Because it might not be your life, it might be the life of an innocent person. I'm not going to force myself to drive past what I can do. Even though I have insisted on maintaining my license and driving. But I'm also open to when my doctors and the police and the judge, they say it's time to return your license, and I will do it. Until then, I'm gonna try to stay safe and maintain the rules of the road and ensure that no one gets hurt in the process. Thank you so much.